What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Theron's Thoughts. My name's Theron Shetty. This is my bedroom. Hope everyone's having a great night. I'm doing this at night now because I feel like I've got to work during the day. Like, COVID has just ravaged Los Angeles and doesn't look like it's getting any better anytime soon, so I try to be very productive and do my stuff. But strangely enough, I've been auditioning through like Zoom and random jobs, and I make my living primarily through acting stuff, like print modeling, commercially. I used to do a lot of theatrical back in the day. I left my theatrical agent and then I just re-signed with a new theatrical agent this past year. But I thought I would just talk about auditioning because I think a lot of people think being an actor, you just come to LA and you become an actor, but there's a whole process involved behind that of auditioning, and even that is incredibly tough. It's very tough because, like, at least with comedy or writing, like, I can always be creating my own stuff. But when you're an actor, you basically are just relying on somebody to give you a job, and that can just wear on your mind after a while. And it definitely did for me. Like, I spent the last 3 months shooting my own stuff, like making these videos. As silly as these videos can be, it's me on a phone or me writing my scripts. I have total control. Or like the sketches I've been putting on Instagram, I control every single detail. And I had like this callback for like Botox or something. So ridiculous. And I had to go in there, and as soon as I walked in there, I could just feel myself be like, oh my God, hey, pick me, please. Hey, what's up, Doug? How are you? You know, it's like this thing you just turn on, and it sucks. I hate it. In fact, I try to tell myself before I walk in there, just be you. Like, who cares? Like, you don't need this job. In fact, being on the other side of it, casting my own projects, I see it now. Like, being desperate is a huge turnoff. Like, nobody wants to hire a desperate actor. So I try to now just show up, do the job, and move on to the next one, which is pretty much how I run my life now. But that's hard. It takes constant awareness to live by that. Auditioning is such a big deal out here. Like, there are acting coaches who make their whole livelihood off helping actors for like pilot season. You know, you get like your script like the night before, there's like 8 to 12 pages of dialogue, and you work with an acting coach, and then you walk into your audition the next day at the network and you're like, man, I got to be perfect for this. Which is just, for me, again, my opinion again, puts me in my head. Like, I'm just better off now where I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go in there, do what I do, and so be it. It's important to remember that there are so many X factors which come into play. Like, you might not be tall enough, too short, you're too fat, they don't want an Indian guy. Like, there's so many factors, and you can be the best possible actor and still not get the job. Or maybe you might look like the guy and you will get the job. But I thought I'd share some stories because some of my auditioning stories are just terrible. Like, I remember when I was like 26 or 27, I was up for this TV show called Punk'd. It was this like prank show with Ashton Kutcher, and I got all the way to like the final round, and it was like me and another guy, Marenzio Vance, he's a comedian. And we walk in there, and I was so terrible. Like, I remember Ashton Kutcher gave me the scene. I went to MTV, and we couldn't do it properly. I don't think I could do it properly. I probably tanked Marenzio's audition too. I remember Ashton Kutcher was with his producing partners, and finally he was like, Theron, all right, go for a walk, man. Just go outside for a walk and clear your head. And then I remember I got back to MTV, and they were like, yeah, Ashton doesn't want to see you anymore. You guys are done. I remember being really just in my head because in your 20s, I was thinking like, man, my break's gonna come through the show. I'm gonna be on Punk'd, and that's the first stepping stone. The funniest part of that story was, not the name drop, but I will because who cares. I was walking out and Andy Samberg was waiting to go in, and I was in a bunch of his classes at NYU, and I was like, hey Andy, are you gonna go in? And he was like trying to gauge because we're both up for like the same part. And I was just thinking, dude, don't worry, I take my audition. And lo and behold, like, he was in SNL like less than a year later from making his own stuff. So what does that say? I've also had like huge auditions which went terribly. Like, I remember I was up to be Kumar in Harold and Kumar when that movie came out, and like that was just a nightmare. And I was like, man, I'm so perfect for this, but it was really frustrating because the thing with acting is you actually have to know how to act. Like, I was just a comedian, and I think like you have to know like the subtle nuances to be on camera. And even though I took acting classes, I learned how to act, or I think I learned how to act years later by being in, DCOC, shooting my own stuff, my own movies. That was just my process. Everybody learns a different way, but even this thing right now, like talking to the camera, like this helps me keep my hosting stuff sharp. Like, I've always been a guy who has to do his own things to be comfortable. When I did Flirty Dancing last year, I had to do that dance with that girl, and they told me I had to rehearse for like 2 weeks for this one dance, and they told me you only have one shot at this, and it was like 3 cameras, and there's like more than 3 cameras. Anyways, ton of crew, one shot, have to do this dance with some girl who I've never even seen before. And I remember just like thinking before they sent me out, I was like, just be centered and just do your best. That's all you can do. And that's really all you can do as an actor. Like when you audition, you have to show up, really show up. That's so hard to do because you can get in your head 100 different ways. But if you show up and just, you make a mistake, great. It's not perfect, and then you make some adjustments, and then you move forward, and that's it. I had a girlfriend who was an actor, and she told me she auditioned, and then she left, and she went back to the audition and asked to do it again. And I was like, what are you doing? Seriously? Like, it's not just me. Like, every actor goes through that where we think we're not good enough. I read somewhere that Ben Stiller hated auditioning, and he's like a huge comedy star. In fact, one of his first movies, I forget which one, he met with the director, and he just said, please don't make me audition, please. Because everyone hates it, because it's totally different. Like when you audition in front of a casting director, there's like a camera, you're in your head. But then when you're on set, it's a totally different experience. I have been on set many times. I've played characters in movies and TV. It's a different thing. Like, it's almost like you have an advantage because there's life around you to put you in the mood for the character, as opposed to walking into some casting room in La Brea waiting with 1,000 other actors outside. It's totally different, and I think auditioning in itself is an art form, and if you're good at it, God bless you. The way I counterbalance that now is, all right, I'm just gonna prepare as much as possible, do my best, and then just move on. That's really all you can do, and I think that just it's a metaphor for life as well. I actually have an audition tomorrow on Zoom, so if you think auditioning before was bad, now you have to do it in front of your laptop camera, which is a whole other experience. But I hope everyone's having a great week. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.